Hey guys, welcome back to AP Wargaming and Terrain. It is Tuesday, and that means it's Terrain Day. We are going to make some brick walls today, and I wanted to do some brick walls to kind of break up the ruinedness of our Frostgrave table, which hasn't quite come together just yet, but we're getting there. A couple more weeks, and we'll be ready for that first battle report. I'll make sure to keep you guys informed on our Facebook page if you haven't gone and found that yet. So before we actually get into the build, I wanted to talk for just a minute about the text-based videos. I want to apologize for that. I know a lot of you don't like that, and it is something that you guys basically like to just sit there and listen basically to what everybody's doing. So I'm gonna try something new for next week. Unfortunately, this video was already made and I didn't have a voiceover just yet, or have figured it out anyways. So this video is unfortunately still text-based. Next week, however, we're gonna do our first voiceover in video, which I'm looking forward to. I don't like watching videos that are text-based. I don't know why I decided to even make them that way. So, yeah, shame on me for that one. So, first off, with this video of the walls, in the process of switching between one laptop and another and hard drives and all that fun stuff, I lost some footage. I lost 2 bits of footage, and that is creating the first walls and making the gate. So I wanted to go over how I made the walls real quick before we get into the video, because that footage just isn't there and it is kind of confusing even for me watching it, and I know what I did. So let's go down to the table for just a little bit before we get into the tutorial, and I want to show you guys basically just want to show you the walls, and I'm going to show you, the size increments and everything like that. So if you're following along at home. So let's go to the table, I'll show you that. Alright, so these are the walls that I made in the tutorial. They are 100% XPS, but unfortunately I didn't have any 1/2 inch. I had 3/4 inch, so what I had to do was cut my 3/4 inch down to 1/2 inch. If you have 1/2 inch, I would recommend just doing that if you're following along. The walls are 1 inch high, and like I said, they're 1/2 inch deep. Now these end pieces are 1.25 inches tall and just about 3/4 of an inch in depth here, and that was so I could get just a little bit of variation between where the wall is and these end cap pillars here. So everything else is, I flocked it. I did the snow and the flocking and the rocks the same way that I did in the first video for the scatter pieces, the rock terrain. Now, as for the gate, which I lost that footage too, unfortunately, these 2 little pieces right here, which I'll get it a little bit closer, see if you guys can see that. Those are just little necklace bits that I found at Hobby Lobby. They were on clearance for like 20 cents or something like that. They had some little eye hooks on them, I just cut them off. And then after I glued them on, I took it outside, I spray painted it this brass gold color. Used some of my, Reichling Flesh Shade Citadel wash to go over it, to give it kind of that dirty feel to it. I didn't highlight it or anything like that afterwards. And then this piece right here, the if you guys can see that. Try to get a little bit closer. The base plate that I put on there to basically give you something else to look at other than the gate. Now that is just a piece of chipboard that I cut down to size, and then I glued some of these little gems on there to give it like some rivets or something to where it's being held into this stone wall. So that's about it. I do explain how to make these in this video, so I don't need to go over that. But all in all, I think they turned out pretty well. So let's jump into the tutorial. there it is. All in all, I enjoyed the build. I'm not too happy about the texture on the walls. It's very flat. Doesn't really have a lot of texture to it. I've been thinking about ways of changing that up, and I think I've found something out, and I'm gonna try it next week in the next tutorial. So one of the things that I didn't go over in the tutorial is my snow flocking, and that's because I got way too into this build apparently, and I forgot that I had a camera, and my hand was all right in my face, or right in your face the whole time. So snow flocking's easy if you're not really sure how to handle any of that. You can watch my my first video on the rock terrain, and I do go into a little bit more depth on that. But it's really just baking soda and PVA glue. You put it where you want it, and then sprinkle your snow flocking on. And the baking soda gives it is just basically a bulking material, so you're not using a ton of your flocking. It's not really expensive, but when you get into like wargaming and your terrain pieces are massive scale, you start to run through that stuff really quick. So that's why a lot of people use baking soda, is because then you're not using a whole thing of flocking on one piece. So anyways, I'm done talking. I'm really looking forward to the next build. I hope you guys enjoyed this build. Again, sorry about the text-based content. We're gonna do it differently next week, so please stick around, hit the like button, subscribe, and we will see you guys this time next week.